Welcome back to my channel. My name is Blair if you're new here, and today I thought I would share how I use my planner. This is a planner I bought I got it from Target. It's from the Wit and Delight brand. I honestly really like the layout of this one because it has a monthly spread and then each weekly spread. I'm gonna show you an old page, but it has columns for each day, which is perfect because I predominantly use the weekly portion for to-do lists. But the nice thing is, in between every week, there's also 2 empty lined pages. So if you needed to make notes or take notes, you have space to do that in each week, which I think is a great concept. And then of course you got your monthly spread laid out. Now, a couple things I use with this. I have the Frixion ball clicker pens. I like these because I like to write with pen, but these are erasable, which is nice if you make a mistake or you need to remove something. And then I also have the midliner pens, or not pens, highlighters, and I'm going to explain this because I do use these every month. So let's just get into it. Let's talk about the monthly layout first. Monthly spreads I use for 3 things. Probably 4. So the first thing I always do in each month is go through and mark out my Friday paydays, so that way I know exactly when my paychecks fall. And then I also go back through and I write out all my bills, the days that they're due, and the amounts. And then I can highlight them as I've paid them. But it also helps me then to be able to see when does my bills fall according to paycheck. So for this month, I get paid 3 times. So I know I have a free paycheck, but I need to make sure that my bills are paid and that those things align. So I look this over to see which paychecks I could pull from, so I know which one is my free one. The other thing that I like to do is write in any important appointments, events. For instance, the month of June, I have a vet appointment for the dog that's already been pre-scheduled. I also have a baby shower I need to go to. And then for YouTube, I also use the monthly spread to write in my videos, and then I can highlight them after I've filmed and edited and it's uploaded. That way I can keep track, and I also know how many more I'm gonna need throughout the month. So I'm gonna show you this layout. I go through and I just put PD in my paydays. And then I also go back through and write out the bill, how much is due, and then I highlight them as they get paid. And then of course we got so this video you will have already seen, but I wrote it out and highlighted it for Sunday because I always try to upload every Sunday and every Wednesday. So at a glance, I can see how many videos I may still need. Like I said, appointments. And so this is where the highlighters come in handy. So I tend to use the green one here to highlight bills after they've been paid. I use the orangish colored one to highlight events that I need to attend. And then I use the pink one to highlight the videos, because if I get my plan figured out and I know what videos I'm filming, they may all be written in. But this way I can highlight when I know they're 100% done, and it just keeps me really well organized, and at a glance I can see my month for any key important events, but also knowing that my bills are paid. And the weekly spread is just laid out in columns, which I really like because I predominantly use this for to-do lists. So I tend to write out the things I need to do every day, so daily habits, and then any random one-off items that I need to get done. And then I can cross them off in a to-do list format. Obviously I'll write in the new appointments as well and then cross those off, so the day of I mark it off my list. But this one's pretty cut and dry, but I'm gonna go ahead and fill in some more of this, and then I'll show you a little bit more. As you can see, it is pretty sparse on some days because I work 9-hour shifts the remainder of the week. I'm not filling in the whole thing, but the rest of this week through Saturday, I work 9-hour shifts. And then on Tuesday, today, for instance, I work a shorter day, so I have a little more time to do things after work. But on a normal work day, I try to fit my workout in prior to work because I'm usually so mentally exhausted by the time I get done that I don't want to do anything after work. So I tend to leave this blank. The only things that typically will go in my afternoons is when like I need to shower, or there's something pertinent that has to be done, like something mailed or something submitted or whatever. So those things will get filled in, like transferring my sinking funds on the Thursday before payday, pay bills, things like that. But most of the rest of the week will be pretty sparse unless there's something dire important. So pretty simple, cut and dry. I like the format, like I said, because it's more of a to-do list, so I can just go through, write out what I need to do, and because there's space, I can add more to it if something comes up in my mind. And then I can just cross them off as I go and know that they're done. So for instance, like I already did these things today. Oh, and then like for instance, on Tuesdays, I always make dinner too. So I need to make dinner tonight. So almost forgot to add that in, and you can't see it down here. They also have this little daily check-in thing where you can choose how your mood is. I don't really do it in here because I have other apps I use, but I do stretch every night before bed as well. So that's kind of how I use my planner. It's pretty cut and dry. Now, I have attempted to use so many different digital formats. For instance, I started to use Notion there for a little bit to write my goals in, which I think is good because it's in some place digital that I can check them off. However, I was finding that I was trying to use like a calendar tool in there for like my YouTube videos. I don't know, it just didn't work for me because it wasn't something I could visually see all the time. I was having to go in there and just check things off, and I was forgetting to do it. So it didn't make like a ton of sense for me to stick with that option. And the planner, there's something about paper, right? Having something to write it down and see it. And that's another reason, like I said, I like this pen because it's erasable. So even if I do make a mistake, like a digital format where you can just delete it, on here I can at least erase it and I still have my layout, good. But the weekly spread is fantastic for to-do lists. I already actually bought my next year because I always buy my planners like in the academic version. So I think it starts in July and goes through till June of the next year. Honestly, I think I did that the first time because I just decided I needed another paper planner and I didn't want to wait. So I just bought the academic because it was in the middle of the year. But now that I'm stuck with this, I actually kind of prefer it because everybody goes and buys planners in January. And in theory, yes, it's good to have like an entire year in one thing. But by doing it academically, because I need my new planner by July, I tend to have more options to choose from because people haven't bought them technically yet for school. So I actually kind of like it, and it gives me something to look forward to in the middle of the year, because the beginning of the year, you're always setting all your goals and all your expectations and plans for a new year. But when you get to the mid-year, it's kind of nice to have a new planner and something different. So I really do like this option. And then the monthly spread, like I said, is awesome for me. Because I've been so focused on debt in the last few years and bills and trying to get myself in better financial place, which I am way better off than I was a few years ago. It's nice to be able to just lay it out and see, okay, bills, paydays, and especially with events too. Like for instance, the dog's vet visit. I always, when I go to the vet, because we usually know that there's an appointment coming up. So I took Riley in, I think last month, because he was having an issue with a rash. And so when we were there, of course, they're like, well, we'll see you next month anyway, because he's due for this shot and that shot. And before I left the vet's office, I told him, please give me an estimate so I would know, okay, here comes June. Riley's getting this shot, and he needs blood work. So that way I would know exactly what to anticipate and start saving money. But also because I know I have a free paycheck in June, I'm like, okay, his sinking fund isn't filled, but I can fill it and still pay the bill by that appointment because that's when my free check would fall. So it kind of helps me in a way financially to be prepared for those upcoming random one-off situations that occur. And then by keeping the sinking fund, like when the emergency, it's not even emergency, but when those random occasions pop up for him, I already had the money for that vet visit. I just had to replenish it for his yearly stuff, which is fine. And then for YouTube, I like being able to see that my calendar is filling out for the Sundays and Mondays, because those are the days I try to put up videos for you guys. And so I want to make sure I can see visually how many more videos I need, where I need to fill in gaps. And the paper format is just so much easier than it was like a literal graph almost that I was using on Notion, and I didn't like it because I didn't know the dates that I was missing to fill in a video, and seeing it this way is much better for me. It just works. That's how I use my planner. I hope you guys learned something, or maybe took something away that you'll get to use for this. And I want to end this video. We're starting to get lots of viewers on my channel, which I really appreciate. But I have not done a single like get to know me Q&A type video, and I thought it might be nice to do this now that we have so many people watching. So if there's any questions that you have or things that you'd like me to answer, please leave them down below in the comments, and I will try to do a video in June, before the end of this month anyway, where I can answer all those questions in a video. If I don't get enough questions, I'll just make sure I answer them in 1 or 2 videos throughout the month. But I would like to answer them and make sure you guys get to know what you want to know about me. But as always, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope everybody has a blessed day.